Welcome back everyone to another installment of Grown Man Gets Unrealistically Angry and Upset at Cardboard on the Internet designed for 6-year-olds. I saw so many videos over the past few months. Witchcraft is the new Sky Striker. And then when the cards actually dropped, I think people quickly realized the deck is nowhere near that kind of power level, but at the same time, they're still trying to hype it up a little bit. I can promise you, wholeheartedly, this deck is possibly the worst deck of the modern era. But before we get into detail about that, of course, we're going to start off with... Can I activate anti-Raigeki in my main phase? So my friend was activating his Raigeki, but I forgot that I have anti-Raigeki in my field. Can I activate my anti-Raigeki in my next main phase? my next main phase. Is it okay? Listen, buddy, I know 2 turns ago you MST'd my card, but is it alright if I chain it like now, like from the graveyard in my next main phase or something? It's just main phase. It was really stressful. I was going through a lot of shit back then, but I'm a new person now. It's the battle phase. Do you mind if I just normal summon here? Is that okay? I forgot. How are these people real? The Endymion monsters from the structure deck coming out this summer have been revealed, and this I guess is supposed to be my live reaction of sorts. It's an Earth level 3 spellcast, 1500 attack, pendulum scale 8. The pendulum effect is 2 effects. Each time a spell card is activated, you can place a spell counter on this card. And you can remove 3 spell counters, special both this from your pendulum zone and 1 monster from your face type extra that you can place a spell counter on. And if you do, place 1 spell counter on each of those 2 monsters. That's just really, really crazy. Like, already I can picture it, like the amount of extending plays that you can do. Like, the fact that you can summon any monster from your extra deck that can have spell counters placed on it. Like, just think about this scenario, right? You scale up, you do some combos, you pendulum summon, you do some more combos, and then you use this guy's scale effect, and then you just special summon 2 more monsters to put onto the board. That is absolutely crazy. I don't even know what the monster is at this point. The monster effect could just be this card is a poopy, and it would still be incredible. Monster effect, you can special summon Master of Endymion only once per turn, and when this card declares an attack, you can place a spell counter on this. Once per turn, quick effect, remove 3 spell counters from your field. Special monster from your deck that you can place a spell counter on. Wow. If this card is in a monster zone is destroyed, you can place this in your pendulum zone and place counters on this card equal to the counters that were on it. My god, dude, like this card like doesn't leave the field. It like it's an extender. It provides some kind of defense as well, and you can special a monster from your deck that you can place a spell counter on. I haven't read the rest of them yet, but maybe there's some kind of like sort of floodgatey monster or protection monster you can summon when you get 3 counters on this guy. Like, that's incredible. Like, that's actually unbelievably good. Chaos attack giant. Attack. Giant monster attack. Summon. Attack opponent. Ignore monsters. Chaos edition. Attack. I think that's a good summary of Ancient Gear. I think that's how the deck works. Whack as fuck Farfa boring. I think you guys are trying way too hard to get featured in the hate comment section of my videos. But what I can tell you, Jesus Garcia, as a prominent and well-established Spanish-speaking YouTube channel, I just want to say that, you know, we don't say I love you when we deal with hate in Spanish. What we say is chinga tu madre, pendejo, tú eres en una cabrón, which I believe roughly translates to comment, like, subscribe. Empress of Endymion, the first mommy card that we're getting from the archetype, and of course it's very important that Konami, when they release these new archetypes, that they have to be mommies, and I'm absolutely okay with that. It's a light level 7, scale 2 spellcaster, of course. Each time, pendulum effect, each time a spell is activated, place a spell counter on this when it resolves. You can remove 3 counters from this, special both this from your zone and 1 monster from your hand that you can place a spell counter on. With monster effect, you can special Empress only once per turn. If this is special summoned, You can target one other card you control with spell counters, one card your opponent controls, return both those targets to hand, and even if the first target no longer has any spell counters, then place onto this card the spell counters that were on the card returned from the field to the hand. When this card with spell counters is destroyed by battle, you can add an Endymion card from your deck to your hand. So this one, I think, doesn't seem to really do anything as unique as the other one. It does have the disruption there, which is really cool. Most of the thing important as well, it's when this card is special summon. So already I can kind of see the combo with the previous one we read, where when that guy, I think, was destroyed, I believe it was, and he specials an Endymion from deck, you can special her and then bounce something for more disruption, which is really cool. One thing as well that I'm noticing is that all these Endymions can only be specialed once per turn. I think that's to stop the abuse that I was initially suggested, where you could pendulum summon, do some combos, go to the extra deck, and then go to the scale, and then summon them back. And you would just have so many plays, because you're essentially getting 1.5 pendulum summons. Just getting 2 more monsters out in the field is really good, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this is that skill is unusable or anything. It just means that you'll probably be using it with other with other pendulum monsters, not Endymions. The final monster that I'm going to read here is Servant of Endymion, or Mommy of Endymion. She's a wind level 3 scale 2. Each time a spell is activated, place a counter on this, remove 3 counters, special both this, and 1 monster from your deck with 1,000 or more attack that you can place a spell counter on, and if you do place 1 spell counter on each of those two monsters, yeah, so you're seeing the similar effect here across the board with the scale effect. That's pretty good. The monster effect, you can only special her once per turn. This card can attack directly while it has counters on it. Maybe some time rule shenanigans you can do there late game. Second effect, once per turn, quick effect, discard a card. Place a counter on this and all of the cards you control that you can place a spell counter on. If this card in monster zone is destroyed, you can place this in your pendulum zone and place counters on this equal to the spell counters that were on it. So definitely, this is 100% the weakest of the Endymions, but still a lot of use here. Depending on how important putting the spell counters on everything is, because I believe the first monster had negates for each spell counter or something on it. Discarding is the worst effect in pendulums. You never ever want to discard in pendulums generally, except unless it's Dark Worm, because it's such a heavy minus. You always want to be playing cards that up your advantage and stuff. So it depends on the trade-off for how good applying all these spell counters everywhere will be. But that's a really good archetype overall, and it's good to see that they just have so many cards that just work really well together. This is basically Mythical Beast if it was good. Decent content flowchart. Is it a meme? Yes. Is it terrible? No. You're the 2% who help make Farfa content funny. Haha. Is it terrible? Yes. Farfa will probably still talk about it. Hashtag AdSense. Listen, buddy, don't hate. Is it a meme? No. Is it something Farfa can spend at least 30 seconds talking about or make fun of? Yes, you can make Farfa content. Yeah, that's the shit. Kind of like your flowchart. Yeah, it's not funny, it's not a meme, it's awful, but at least I can squeeze 30 seconds out of this and put it in my video, and thank you. The Witchcraft deck, I just want to say, is awful. It is so bad, it's terrible. I got some replays here that you can watch. And it's basically, the biggest issue with the deck is that it's almost good, right? Every card is almost good. The problem is that every single card has the most heavy, unnecessary once per turn restriction I've ever seen. You're probably thinking to yourself, Farfa, you like once per turns. You always argue that once per turns would fix Yu-Gi-Oh! Once per turns is a good thing for Yu-Gi-Oh! Listen, once per turns generally, jokingly, would help Yu-Gi-Oh! But not to an extreme point where something as basic as Rota in your archetype would become too powerful. You activate the Rota spell in this deck to search a monster. That means you can't use the recursion effect. The recursion effect in the end phase lets you add the spells back when they've gone to the ground. I'm going to assume you know all of this stuff, by the way. And you can't use that effect if you use the Rhoda. I think this last replay here was with the spell books or something. Discarding cards is, such a heavy cost as well. I tried playing things like Metal Foes Fusion. I think I was playing 3 Metal Foes Fusion in this list. And, it's good to discard because you can get a draw out of it. It replaces itself. I tried the new spellbook link as well, because the deck is all spellcasters. That's pretty cool. So, I mean, this isn't like the worst thing ever, I guess. I recurred some spells. This is like the best field I think I made. Was Haney, where I can pop a card, and a set Fate as well. You kaiju'd my guys, so I couldn't use the pop. I still have Fate live, I suppose, but I don't think it's too much to ask for your opponent to play through one single disruption, which is really generally, on average, is as far as this deck can put down. And yes, that is an Arcana Force that missed the coin flip. I could have just been OTK'd through 2 disruptions. I tried my hardest to make this deck work. The only version I didn't try was Sky Striker. I even put in some Floodgates here, as you can see, with Rivalry. Just not good enough. Deck is just generally just not good enough. The Metaphors Fusion, I guess, was kind of cool. Drawing another one is not great, but it's fine because you can discard them. That guy blows up the field, which is sad times. This did turn into a bit of a grind game here. That extra Foolish Burial was really good in Cyber Angel. Well, it's good in any ritual deck because it's literally just Rhoda. I didn't draw a spell here, I think, so that meant that I wasn't able to resolve Schmitta, and that was basically a game, not being able to resolve a spell there. But at least in the end phase, I could have got a spell. The end phase, well, that's useful. I guess I'll just wait till the end phase. God damn it. So let's get through these final Endymions. We have this one here, Spell Power Control. Normal spell, you can only activate one card with this name once per turn. Add an Endymion card from your deck to your hand and place as many spell counters as possible on cards you control that you can place a spell counter on, but not more spell counters than the total number of spell Power Grasp and Power Controls on your field and in your graveyard. I don't get it. I'm sorry, that second part, I'm so confused. But it's a Rhoda and it does spell counter things. Probably good in the deck. Guidance of Spell Salvation. You can only activate with this card's one name per turn. Target a spellcast effect monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. Graveyard. I don't think you can really set up the graveyard before your Pendulum Summon in this deck. Correct me if I'm wrong. This doesn't seem super useful. I'm not gonna lie. Well, it's useful, but it doesn't seem like... I feel like with Pendulum decks, you're very much revolving around your first turn, and unless your deck does something big first turn, this seems more like kind of like a turn 3 card or like a grind game card, which is not a situation like Pendulum wants to be in. Well, obviously turn 3 is like understandable, but like that's the point where you want to be like going for game, not really, you know, trying to like recur resources to... How do you even get a guy in the graveyard with this deck? Maybe I've missed something completely obvious. Maybe you're like overlaying and stuff. I suppose that's fine, but the issue there is that you have a card that's dead in your hand for 1 turn. Like for your first turn, let's say you're comboing off. This doesn't do anything turn 1. Maybe you can get a guy in your and then put more spell counters on the field, but I think putting spell counters on the field is useful, but I think there's already a lot of ways to put spell counters, especially with the Link monster, than this needs. So I don't know about this card. The final spell that we have here is Endymion Lab. It's a continuous spell. You can only activate 1 card with this name per turn. This card name becomes Magical Citadel of Endymion while it's in the spell and trap zone. Each time a spell card is activated, place a spell counter on this card when it resolves. Once per turn, if a spellcaster you control is destroyed by battle after damage calc, you can remove 6 counters from your field and special level 7 or higher spellcaster from your hand or deck. Level 7 or higher spellcaster. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I can promise you if you look for level 7 or higher spellcasters, probably something from the Endymion archetype. I think Empress, you could probably get her on the field for the bounce, I think. So that's obviously the first obvious one, but I'm sure you guys can probably think of some crazy broken random monster from like 4 years ago that was like pack filler that didn't do anything. It was too hard to summon or something. And then this thing just summons it from the deck. Maybe there's some kind of cool interaction you can do there. I don't know, you guys will probably find something, but until then, yeah, I guess this card is pretty cool. Thank you guys for watching today. I know the quality isn't as high, and it might seem a little bit rushed as well, but I did want to get this video out to talk about the Witchcrafts and to mention the new Endymion spells, because I love Pendulum. Thank you for watching.
Keep spending most our lives living in the game.